Namaste, hello, welcome to Monday Flow. So, today we are going to be aiming for a little bit of calm, even if it's just a fleeting moment of calm and connection. That's what we're trying to come back to. And we're going to work through a few expressive movements, a little bit of self-massage, a little bit of a rinsing, as well as a couple of deep stretches and your favourite poses in order to access that bit of our centre today. So overall it will be quite a nice mellow flow, but when in doubt or if anything isn't feeling quite for you today, just do your thing, come down and take rest or come back from your stretch when in doubt, all the way out to Shavasana. Okay, so we're going to get started on our tailbones in cross legs. So come and join me. Let's take a little shift of the hips side to side so that you're feeling nice and even across the tailbone. You might even take a cushion under your bum if that's not feeling comfortable today. So we're going to relax the hands on the knees. Take your shoulders back and down so you're stretching up through the crown. And just feel your breath really fill up and empty just a couple of times with the eyes starting to close. So carrying on that deepened breath, this time sort of imagine a line that you're drawing with your breath from your tailbone to your crown. Inhaling, and then as you exhale, releasing that breath, letting it roll down from your crown down to your tailbone. And then fully up from tailbone to crown. Feeling that little rise it gives us in the spine. Exhaling, letting that roll from your crown down to your tailbone. I'm going to take a couple more, imagining that line rolling from tailbone through the crown, maybe even up towards the ceiling of the room that you're in, and exhaling to release back down. And one more time, just like that, big breath in. And big breath out. Feeling that your breath is sort of still remaining quite a deep breath in and out, but without too much force across the pattern of it now, as we take left hand to the upper chest and right hand on top of that, just tilting your chin downwards as you breathe. Feeling like our focus goes where the hands go, they're using our gestures to communicate, so kind of communicating with yourself here, just to feel what we're bringing with us today, or just to be curious about that. How does it feel to be in our bodies today, on the mat? Breathing in and breathing out, noticing any aches or any thoughts that surface, but not hanging on to them. So coming from that place of self-observation, let's start to bring the chin up, take the hands towards each shoulder, take a nice big soft circle with the elbows up together and open, and then just repeat that and feel how the movement affects the breath. So often the two are helping each other to deepen. Gently slow down and reverse that, taking the elbows back and then forward. Maybe there's some other space you'll notice here as you reverse that. Maybe it's the back of the shoulders that get it more as we breathe. Bring yourself nice and level. Take a moment's pause to breathe. And then just send your hands out as if they're on a table surface, either side of you. So we're going to twist the whole body from the torso to the arms towards your right side, bringing your left hand to your right knee, fingertips tall and stacked behind you to give you some height on your lower back. So right behind you, moving your chest around, slightly over to the right. Or maybe even a little bit further, looking slightly back and tucking the shoulder behind you. And again, just maybe close the eyes and breathe into that tall breath up to the crown. And back down. Up past the crown towards the ceiling. And back down. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to release, coming center. Taking your arms out wide, nice open chest. So we're just going to lift the knees to switch the feet. So we're feeling balanced from the start today. Inhaling, let's take that spiral to the other side. So now, that right hand taking the left knee. Your fingertips are still a little stack, a little pancake stack behind us to give us height on the lower back. And let us move around from the middle. So you're not leading with your shoulder, you're leading with the middle, and then the shoulders move a little bit around. Head is the last thing to follow you into twist. Taking a big breath in, maybe the eyes closed, breath to the crown, and back down. And breathing in, breath through the crown to the ceiling, and breathing out and back down. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to release and come center. So we're just going to bring the feet under us this time. Find your shins. And we're going to inhale here with the hands on the thighs and just send your chest forwards. So as if you're trying to drink in a breath through the nostrils, through and up to the forehead and crown. And then exhale, we're just going to round out chin to the chest. Now our gaze is towards the navel. And then just big breath in, coming forwards. And big breath out, peeling back. This time bring your chest forwards. And we're going to come back again, but this time we're going to come through our side. So just bringing your chest back and around, like you're drawing your ribs in a circle. And then again, bring that circle to a close as you come forwards. And again, let's continue, bring our chest around to the left, around to the right, and back into center. Let's reverse that. Inhale, bring your ribs around to the right and back into that cat position, and then center. And keep drawing that circle back. Looking to the navel, inhale, moving through your side and forwards. Exhale, nice neutral spine. And just taking a pausing breath. Those pauses are quite nice to just notice and let energy settle, particularly if we've stirred up a really tight spot. So as you inhale, we're just going to take ourselves forwards and just find your tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. Taking just a full breath to reach forward through the crown of the head before we exhale and tuck the toes. We're lifting up and back to down dog here, energy through the hands, and just take this as a stretch rather than a held or yang pose. So just wriggle it into the heels here, feel the backs of the hamstrings find some space, the head can just take a small soft shake. Make sure you're not just using the wrists of the hands, you're also using the full scope of the knuckles, the palms, the fingertips. And just pedal one heel down, and then the other, noticing the calf muscles. And then really put a little emphasis on shifting the hips a bit side to side. So you're getting in kind of to the sides of the body as well as you take each heel down. Big breath in. Start to walk your hands back towards your feet, but take it really slow so that you get to appreciate that moment of finding balance through the feet. A little bend in both knees as you find that balance to lengthen the spine. And then inhaling to stretch the backs of the legs. We don't have to straighten the legs. We don't ever really want to lock the knees. We're just trying to lift the tailbone and find some length through those legs, with some energy into the arches of the feet pulling up to help us plant those feet down. Take another 2 breaths, considering how soft and heavy we can make the crown, elongating the vertebrae. And then we're going to allow each vertebrae to stack. As we bend both knees generously, let your hands hang heavy, head hangs heavy. And we're just going to roll up, imagining strength in the back, feet planting down. And then each vertebrae in turn being felt and noticed. And slowly, slowly rising chin, crown, and shoulders down and back. Just take a moment here, hands either side of you, to just close the eyes and do nothing. So you're arriving into a still standing pose. Breathing fully. One last breath. Inhale, we're going to take interlaced fingers, take them up and behind the head, and just lift the front part of the body as you widen out the elbow tips. So you're kind of trying to sunbathe into the hands. Your eyes are starting to turn upwards. We feel this rise, loads of energy almost into the back of the shoulders and front of the heart. Big breath in, strong feet. Big breath out. Big breath in. And big breath out. Starting to bring the eyes level and then the chin down towards the chest, not pulling the head, but just allowing a bit of the weight from your hands on the back of the head. Elbows are resting at shoulder width. Big breath in, feel and close the eyes, feel where that stretch starts and ends. Sometimes it doesn't end, the sensation can be felt all the way into the mid-back. Where you are at the back of your mat, inhale, we're just going to lift the chest back up so we're neutral. And then making sure your feet are hips distance, we're just going to take a small bend in the knees. And then inhale, just hitch your right elbow towards your right hip. So got a little squeeze on your right side. And then come level. And then inhale, other side, just a little squeeze of the hips, a lengthening of your right side. Exhaling, coming level. Keeping the head and spine really neutral. Release the hands above you and then in front of you. Find the backs of the shoulder blades here as a nice round space within the arms. Breathe in and start to turn your palms inside out to stretch your fingers, inner arms, and just stretch that all forwards and slowly up. Inhale, lift to your tiptoes. Exhale, hold. Big breath in. Exhale, release the hands open and down to your sides as you land back to your heels. So we're going to do a little bit of yoga chi. Increase the breath by bringing the palms face up around the belly. As that meets the shoulder height, just slowly turn the palms face down and feel how the breath changes direction. Releasing the breath down to the belly. And we're going to repeat to deepen this. Big breath in. Palms face up. And rounding. Yeah. And exhaling. And your eyes might be really soft towards the ground or even closed as you take 2 more. Really just take your time. Let your hands rest either side of you as you take your next soft breath in and out. And here's one of our nice pauses to breathe and notice any changes in the breath or feeling of the body. So allowing yourself that small bend again back in both knees. I'm going to take a little rinse out. So now just a bit more energy in the bob of the body. And we're just going to take your hands nice and heavy as a nice big swing. The torso is going to power the movement. The arms are just having a nice old flop. Energy coming down the arms into the fingertips. Nice whack at the kidneys. And you might take a more energetic exhale here, or even a lion's breath. One last time. And then let it slow down. Close the eyes as it's becoming more and more still. And again, just take a moment to pause, breathe softly. Register what's feeling like it's surfacing in the body. So we're coming from hopefully a little bit of a rinsed out place, or at least an observational place at the back of your mat to take a few deep stretches before we take our Shavasana. So we're breathing in to bring the arms forwards, behind you, feet at your hips distance. Inhale to interlace the fingers, open the chest. If this is a little bit tough to open or something's feeling a bit restricted, hands to the elbows instead. Big breath in. Big breath out to bend both knees and ski down. So chest visits the thighs, so we lift the hands up and away from the crown, and we press to lift the tailbone. Stretching the legs and opening the chest. Big breath in, big breath out. Exhaling with your next breath, release the hands, give your head a little shake towards the ground. One hand to each opposite elbow in ragdoll to just bounce a bit more length into the backs of the hamstrings, shifting the space of your shoulders down. Exhaling, take your hands to the floor and just start to walk yourself forwards until you're almost in plank position. We're just going to hitch your right knee towards your chest and find your way into pigeon pose. So your right knee's coming forwards, your left knee's moving back. Go into this gently, and I'll give you a version of this if this is a little bit strong today. You might take a prop under your right hip bone as you find this position, nice and equally for the hip bones, and then taking the forearms down so that you can drop your head and keep that nice bit of effortlessness through the torso. A deeper version of that, we can take the hands out and move your crown and forehead down between the arms. And we're going to find and settle ourselves in whichever position feels good. If you were at the forearms and that wasn't quite feeling right, a little too deep, come with me one step back. We'll lift the chest, move our weight slightly right, and create a little bend in the left knee to your side. So you've got a sort of quarter to 12 position through the legs. And here we'll just frame the front knee, lengthen forwards, and draw down again to the forearms. So once you've found your pigeon pose, your version of this right glute stretch, as you draw the hip bones equally back, put some breath into the softness of the jaw, the space in the shoulders, and also observing whatever you're feeling in the left leg too. So if that's extending behind you, you've got that nice psoas stretch. If it's out to the side, you'd be in a slight hip stretch here too. And then let your focus settle on the breath. 3 more deep breaths here. Inhaling with your next in-breath, let's lift the chest gently. And whether your leg behind you is extended or in this quarter fold, we're just going to turn towards your left side as you pick up your chest and adjust your hip bones to face out to the side as we elongate that left leg. So now the left leg is extended, left toes point up towards the sky. Your right foot might come into contact with the left thigh. And we're just going to take your right hand towards the front of your mat and just move a big lift up and away from your left foot. So you're trying to find an opposing line from your extended left foot to your right hand, and then your left hand too, as you just stretch out and away. Big breath in. Press from your right hand to lift the chest. Take your left hand down towards the left shin and just rise your right arm up and out of the hip. It doesn't have to be a massive stretch over. We want to be slightly looking underneath the right arm so that your chest is facing the same direction as the hips. And then we're just going to move between the two. So a big breath in to reach your right arm up. Bring it behind you, rise your left arm. Find the left side of the ribs. And again to push up. Find your left hand on the left shin, rise the right arm. Find some side space. Inhaling, coming up. And finding your way back really gently to bring both knees towards you. Shift back to your child's pose. Knees at hips distance apart, or maybe a little bit wider so you can rock the torso between the thighs. Breathing in, breathing out. Give yourself a couple more breaths with the hands stretching forward. You should feel a nice space in the shoulders open up. Didn't think my feet would feel warm again today. Let's take one last breath there. And then we're inhaling, finding your way up through tabletop with the knees under the hips, hands under shoulders to tuck the toes and find your down dog. Again, maybe put some expression through this movement today rather than holding. A little wriggle. Lots of nice in and deep breath. Nice soft crown dropping between the arms. And then as we breathe in, start to look towards the hands. Walk your hands forwards, almost like you're coming into a plank position. This time we're taking your left shin forwards. Right knee shuffling back, hips as equal as they can be in this position. If you need a prop, maybe a cushion or just a rolled out jumper or something underneath your left hip. We're inhaling to kind of draw the ribs up and over the thigh. As we exhale, we find the forearms and just drop the head gently. So we've got a nice soft jaw, soft breath. So the glute stretch should be quite obvious here. But just also noticing if there's any discomfort in the knees, if you need to adjust anything. Really making sure that your back leg is slightly wrapping in rather than the knee pointing out to the side. If you're happy here, that's great. If you want to go deeper, you can lift the ribs, stretch the arms out, forward fold. Find your forehead on the mat. Or if that forearm position wasn't quite right, come up with me to a slightly less deep variation. Rolling your hips off to the left and just creating a little bend in your right knee. So now we have a 12 position through the legs as we try and face that left thigh to lean across. Find the forearms. And then just breathe to close the eyes, soften the jaw, and notice where your sensations are. Inhale, we're going to start to lift the chest. So whether the knee is bent or straightened behind you, we're just going to start to adjust the hips to face out towards your right side as we turn your right toes face up. Do so gently. And your left foot might be tucking slightly in towards the right thigh here. So noticing where that right leg extends, we're going to take the fingertips of your left hand directly away from that foot. Inhale to lift your right arm and find a little bit of side space through your right side. Keeping the heel flexed, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale, lift that right arm, lengthen and find your right shin up and over with the left arm. So you're trying to move away from your left hip, up and then slightly over. Slightly looking underneath that left arm so the chest is open to the side. Breathing in and breathing out. And then let's just move between the two. Inhale, strong back to lengthen up. Take your left hand to the ground, your right arm up. Left elbow can bend a little if you want to find something a bit deeper. Next breath in, rising up. Right hand to the right shin and up and over with that left arm. Inhaling to rise, lengthen. Bring both hands to the front of the mat and kind of draw both knees together to your side. Exhaling, finding your way back towards child's pose. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths into those shoulders, rocking the torso between the thighs. And then starting to breathe in to come up to tabletop. Cross the feet underneath you, find your crossed legs. Move yourself into the middle of your mat so you have space behind you. Just going to face you for a moment. So as we come to find that position, just take a moment to soften the face muscles. Reach up and take your fingertips in towards your scalp if you're comfortable to for a nice dry shampoo, so that all those energy points along the scalp are also included in our release today. So our dry shampoo might feel really good. If you're not comfortable with this, just keep your hands to your knees. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, start to bring your hands towards your chest, up towards the third eye point as we just massage that point open and free. So whether you associate this with the third eye or whether that is just where we knit together and concentrate our thoughts, we're just freeing up that space, circling and breathing. Just feel that vent open in the upper body as we breathe into the crown. And circle the thumbs the other way, breathing in and breathing out. As we release, just take your hands apart, the first and middle fingers to your temples, circle into those temples. And then just drawing those same fingertips towards your jaw and just circle into your jaw. And remind your jaw it can soften and loosen, particularly if there's any stress caught up in there. And as you bring those away from your jaw, start to bring your knees up to your chest. Take a moment to just tip your head down and feel like a nice secure bundle here for another deep breath. On our next breath in, feel a little squeeze of the arms across the shins. Next breath out, release, open to your Shavasana. All the way along the ground, you can wriggle your fingers and toes. Feel all those points across the face that we massaged, just echoing. We'll give ourselves just a few moments here to relax, restore and breathe. So where you are along the ground, just starting to find your way back to breath. Letting it pick up space on its way into the body and letting it draw out tension on its way out. Each breath has a little micro process of old for new. And as you feel that spaciousness exchange for our release, feel your arms, your legs, the back of your body, the back of the head nice and heavy on the ground. And the tingling of the surface of the skin. Starting to wriggle your fingers and toes back into action. Gently bringing your knees up towards your chest. Taking a circle across that lower back with both kneecaps. Nice big lumbar massage. Circling the other way. Exhale, tumbling across to your left side, finding your way into a hedgehog, little ball on your side. And then gently, gently come up, and you can find your way, if you can, with closed eyes. Let's meet in cross legs. So find your way back to center, as we did at the start, noticing any difference between this and then. And then we'll close as we started. One hand to the upper chest, the other hand on top, just tipping chin to chest. Thanking yourself for a moment, a little island for yourself today. And then bringing palms to palm, bowing to yourselves. Namaste, cool cats. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're feeling all right. And I look forward to seeing you here or